I live my life by one main rule, and that rule is you get what you give. If you treat Big Josh with a little bit of kindness and love, I'll be your best friend. If you screw me over, I'll spend the rest of my life making the rest of your life a living hell. And that's one thing about Big Josh that some people don't understand until it's too late. Hey, good evening, my friends. I hope you all are doing well tonight. This is your midweek notification. I've got to get a new CPAP mask because it keeps on leaving this ring around my mouth and it's driving me insane. So I haven't been doing a whole lot. The picking has been pretty puny lately. So I haven't felt like really shooting a lot of video. I ended up shooting over to the local dump yesterday and I just wasn't popping on very much. And it was a little bit frustrating. I ended up sitting in my van for around 3 hours yesterday. I was just hoping that something good would come in and I could grab it up, but it just didn't happen yesterday. Yesterday was just a really, really bad day at the dump. I did find a few small items. I got this little curve decor, curve handle. It's something, it's for stamps somehow. I don't know how you work it. I think they sell for like $15 or $20. It's not that good. There's this little replacement line for a weed whacker. I think this also sells for like $12. So I'll probably make like $5 or $6 after fees. I also saw this little candle. It's made by this company called Habersham Candle Company. And I saw that they were selling for like $10 plus shipping. And it looks like, I guess the wick is underneath the flower petals. And it's supposed to be a smokeless candle, so maybe I can get a few for that. I also saw this book over there yesterday. It's called Awesome Elementary School Physical Education Activities. It was in the big book Gaylord, and I just kind of grabbed it. And I think I saw one that had sold for a best offer from 15 plus shipping. So what I'll probably do is just throw mine up there for 15 or best offer plus shipping and see if I can get it. And that's pretty much the skinny of it yesterday. My dad and I ended up going and checking out the new Halloween movie over at the local cinema. We both like to watch movies during the day. I'd like to be home at nighttime. I'm not a big fan of crowds, and as happy coincidence would have it, we had the entire theater to ourselves. The movie was okay. It wasn't as good as I had anticipated, but it was okay. They did some really neat splicing on the video where they took some old footage and kind of put it in with new footage, and it was kind of cool that way, I think. Was it worth the $6.50 matinee ticket? I would say so. Now, was it worth the $23 in popcorn? That's a different story. But before we even went out to the theater, we hit the Salvation Army today, and it was horrible. I only actually found 2 items out there today. There was this little Sanyo mini tape recorder, and I just wasn't sure about this. And I probably shouldn't have gotten it. They had $5 on it, and it says as is, which probably means they tested it and couldn't get it to work. So they sold it as is. My name is ISL Big Nugget, and the Salvation Army was garbage today. So it does work. But the downside is, I think the contact is messed up or corroded or something, so the battery can't be completely pushed down, or it won't work at all. So if you push it all the way down, it won't even power up. So that's going to have to be sold as parts or repair. But the good thing is it does work. So if somebody wanted to fix that, they could. I ended up paying $4.25 with discount, and it did come with a few tapes and case, so I probably won't do very well with this, but maybe I can get $15 or $20. It looked like they were selling for like $30 or $40 in good working condition, but this was probably not a very good buy. Guys, I just couldn't believe how bad it was today. You know, usually if I don't go there for an entire week, you know, there's some stuff that I can usually find and make some good money on, because I sell a lot of stuff that most people don't even care about. And that just wasn't the case. And I think we've actually come to that season where there's just, you know, there's not a lot of great inventory right now. You know, people are, maybe they're getting ready for the holidays, or they're done with, you know, donating or whatever. I'm just going to keep on doing what I can do. I'm just going to hit the dump and see if I can't buy some wholesale stuff from friends and just try to keep my head up, you know. And the only other thing that I bought out there today was this little, I guess it's a potato masher. It's hard to see, but it says made in Italy. I paid $1.70 for it, and I think I saw where they're selling for about 20 shipped. So maybe I get like 10 bucks on it. Oh, don't let me forget these. I did find these on the way out. I don't think they're worth a whole lot of money. They're PC games, pinball. What's that? Hot Rod Garage to Glory and Collapse 2. I can probably sell these for like $10 plus shipping for the 3. And then I shot over to the More Than a Thrift store and I picked up this vintage Rubbermaid Serve and Savor butter dish. It was only $1. And these typically sell, for me anyway, for about $12 to $15 free shipping. This is in decent structural condition, but it'll probably have to be cleaned up a little bit. It's got some goo and stuff on the side. I'll just use some Goo Gone and pull it right off. I sold this boombox yesterday. It's a Sony boombox I got from my friend Tom in a wholesale lot a while back. It took a long time to sell, but I ended up selling it for $40 plus shipping. And my dad had this Ryobi box where he bought like a little leaf blower, and it's actually the perfect size for this stereo. So I'm going to go ahead and get this packed up. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm over here at the dump, and I'm just kind of hanging out. I just walked inside, and the dump Nazi's in there, and she was telling people, hey, you can only have 3 items. And, and then the one lady's like, what, I got to put some stuff back? And I think she realized like that was kind of a stupid thing to say. And so she's like, no, you're good. And she's like, and the lady was like, I don't make up the rules. I'm like, here we go again with this lady. But you know what, whatever. But it's no big deal. But the reason that I got here so early was because the other day when I looked up a book that was in the book Gaylord, I saw that somebody was selling it for like $400 or $350. And it was the only one listed. And I did a completed listing search and saw that none had sold. And I'm like, I don't know why somebody's asking like $400 for this book, but his book actually happened to be signed. So I went ahead and looked in the pages and noticed that this book was signed too. So what I should have done is I should have grabbed that book, but instead I took a photo of the book so that I could use Terapeak later on and see if it had ever been sold. So later on that night when I was at home, I went ahead and looked that book up on Terapeak, and one did indeed sell back in like June for like $85, and it wasn't even signed. So I thought to myself, man, I got to get back to that dump and grab that book. Well, unfortunately, when I went into the reuse shack, the Gaylord was gone. But that happens from time to time. Whenever it starts getting full, they have a buyer for it, and they just buy all the books. So I probably lost out on like $100, but I don't know. You know what, guys? It's really frustrating. I just wish eBay would come up with a mobile Terapeak app or something. That way you could check your Terapeak stuff on your phone. I don't know if there's a way to do it or not with your phone, but it's certainly not an eBay app that I found. But anyway, that lady should be leaving at 12. So I'm just going to wait it out. Then I'll go in and see if I can't find some goodies. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Hey, what's happening, friends? It's Friday morning. I'm over here on a cup of coffee numero 3. And it's a little after 9. And Big Josh has not gotten a single thing packed. So right now I'm feeling a little bit vulnerable. I've got just 2 items going out today. The first item that sold was this Mega Home carafe. I just listed this like 5 days ago and it sold for like $50 plus shipping. So I was really happy about that. I'm not sure if you guys remember or not, but I recently talked about how I have never found a good carafe at the Salvation Army. I used to get them at Savers all the time. I'd find those $40 Braun carafes, but I've never found anything like this. So this was the first good carafe that I found out there. And I paid $5 for it, so I think that's a pretty good profit. I also sold these 3 Blu-ray James Bond DVDs. I picked this up at that garage sale that I found all that free stuff a while back. I talked about it in my video. It was an excellent garage sale. I bought a lot of DVDs and sets. I paid $1 a piece for these, so $3, and they sold for $29.95 plus shipping. The buyer has asked that I put these in a box with padding. So being the agreeable seller that I am, I was able to find a box that I think will be just fine, and I've got some extra bubble wrap, so we're going to go ahead and get this stuff packed up. Alright guys, so I have run into a little bit of a situation while trying to pack a customer's order. This carafe is much bigger than I had anticipated. I tried to get it into a large mailing box, but there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to close that thing and still get some bubble wrap in there to protect the glass. I tried taking 2 large mailing boxes and putting them together, but it just didn't work out. So I think I found a solution. This is the box that those eBay 8.5 by 11 padded mailers come in. So I think what I'm going to do is cut this down. I think if I can cut this down to 13 inches, I'll be okay. Where the problem lies is I charged £4 priority at 12 by 12 by 12. So it's around $12 to ship. But if you go just 1 more inch, like 12 by 12 by 13, it becomes about $29 to ship. So I have to get this thing down to 12 by 12 by 12, so 36 all around. So I'm going to try to work on this, and I'll let you guys know how that turns out. Alright, so through some trial and error work, I think I got this box in acceptable condition to ship in priority. I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as it is. I went ahead and used my special bubble wrap. This stuff is expensive. It's about 10 cents a sheet. Actually, with COVID prices, it's probably like 15 or 20 now. I had to actually open the box up and repack it because the dimensions were too big. So I went ahead and stuffed a bunch of newspaper on the sides. I've got plenty of bubble wrap, I hope, and I think it should do okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing weighed, labeled, and put out for Richard. Hey, what's happening, guys? It's Sunday evening, and I think it's been about 2 days since I last recorded. In all honesty, I just really haven't been in the mood. I guess I'm just trying to get caught up and, focus on the eBay stuff for now. But I'm still shooting video. I'm just not uploading and editing as much as I was. I sold 10 items over the weekend, and I figured I'd go ahead and get them packed up tonight. That way I don't have to rush around tomorrow, and I can just do some listing tomorrow, and I won't wear myself out. So let me show you guys what I sold. The first item that I sold was this Green Bay Packers ugly Christmas sweater. This thing I picked up like 2 years ago, and this thing has just been listed forever. And I paid like $5 for it at the Salvation Army, and it finally sold for $10 plus the cost of a flat rate envelope. This sweater kind of reminds me of my buddy Chuck. I think he would have got a kick out of this, but I forgot about it. I was just happy to see this thing go. I got this Kohler soap dispenser probably a few months ago at the Salvation Army. I think I paid $4 for it. I sold this for $39.95 with free shipping. It's probably going to go in a legal flat rate envelope, so there's still some pretty good profit on it. These are some replacement parts for a Sunbeam mixer. You actually use this knob right here to turn the little part that holds the bowls. This has probably been listed for like 6 months. These are really slow sellers for me, but they do sell. This is another slow seller. It's a lid for a Jura espresso machine. This sold for $12.95 with free shipping. I also sold this vintage tracer razor. I think it's actually still new, but the cardboard got damaged. I picked this up at that First Hoarder house, not the good one. Jim gave me a bunch of things from there for free. This sold for $14.95 with free shipping. I sold this box of vintage Totes slipper socks. This came from that great big indoor sale at that Catholic church a couple months ago. I bought a bunch of stuff for like $90. This sold for $14.95 with free shipping. I sold this thing right here. It pulls the little pits out of olives and cherries. This sold for $6 plus $4.95 shipping. I took a best offer on that. I also took a best offer on this Black & Decker Handy Pop and Serve. I probably picked this up for about $3 at the Salvation Army. And a buyer that also lives in New Hampshire purchased it for $24.95 with best offer plus shipping. I picked up these Muttlux all-weather dog boots probably about a month or two ago at the Salvation Army. I think I paid $4 minus discount. I listed them last night and they sold today for $19.95 with free shipping. This has actually been listed for a while. It's a lid and pusher for a Hamilton Beach food processor. I sold this for $19.95 with free shipping. I also just took an offer on this vintage Mac chef knife. I picked this up at the dump for free. It's probably been listed for at least a couple of months. I had it up there for $24.95 or best offer, and somebody just sent me an offer of $20, so I decided to take it, and I'm just waiting on payment. And hopefully that goes through today. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff packed up, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Hey, what's happening, folks? It's Monday, early afternoon, and it's a little bit windy out here, but it's pretty nice all around. The sun's out, and the temperature's pretty good. I was hoping to get this video up last week, but it just didn't happen. Although this may actually be the best way for me to do the videos. There was a time where I was uploading about every day, but I think that just got to be too much. I was basically just spending all my time doing YouTube videos. There hasn't been much to talk about in regards to thrifting and picking and whatnot. It's been a little bit hard lately for me to find merchandise, so I really haven't had much to offer for video, but I'm still keeping busy. I've got plenty of items to list, so things are going well. I ended up just going to the dump Saturday. I saw that there was a rummage sale up in Keene. I haven't had the best of luck up in Keene, so I decided just to pass on that. As you guys know, I usually hit the dump 3 days a week since they're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And you've probably heard me talk about some people up there that I'm not too fond of. Although usually if I don't care for somebody too much, I just try to avoid them and not even have any kind of conversation. So anyway, I went up there Saturday, and as I was walking around, I guess it was a supervisor or somebody. So he kind of nodded, and then he was just kind of standing around for a second in silence. And I thought, okay, I know where this is going. And sure enough, he was like, hey, I need to talk to you for a second. I was like, okay. So the guy was telling me that some of the volunteers are uncomfortable with me. I pretty much knew where this was going, so I decided to kind of shut it down. I basically asked him, I said, hey man, am I breaking any laws? And he was like, oh no, it's not about that or anything. They're just, the ladies are feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And I told him, I said, somebody could walk in right now with a green or a pink shirt, and I could feel uncomfortable over that. I pretty much let him know that we're all adults here, and everybody's pretty much responsible for finding their own comfort. I actually asked the guy, I said, hey man, where's all this coming from anyway? And he was just so reluctant to tell me anything. But I finally got him to talk a little bit about it. And one of the things he said was one of the volunteers had mentioned that I wanted to hook her up with my dad. And I told him, I said, okay, yes, I did say that, but it's being taken out of context. I was actually having what I thought was a friendly conversation with a person up there who I thought was an acquaintance. And the conversation was a little bit funny, and she had mentioned something that my dad does all the time. And I said something on the lines of, if you were single, you'd be a perfect fit for my dad. And she took that out of context, told him about it, and basically made something out of nothing. So it was a little embarrassing for me because I had no ill intent when I said that. It was just kind of, silly talk. And he was making me feel like I was some type of pervert. And, this woman's always been real cool and everything, so I really couldn't understand why she did that. But I do understand it. I'll get to that. He also made mention of some of the volunteers thought I wasn't giving enough of a donation. And I told him, I said, well, it's a donation. How much am I supposed to be giving? I was like, if it's a donation, you don't really force that on somebody. And I also told him, it's really none of their business how much I give as a donation. That kind of really pissed me off a little bit, because I'm thinking to myself, why are we talking about this? Why have you pulled me off to the side and talked to me about some bullshit like this? And he also mentioned when the workers put the items at the front area to be put out, I was looking over somebody's shoulder. I don't know what he's talking about. I wasn't doing that. I might have been looking in the box, but I certainly wasn't violating anybody's personal space. I basically told the guy this. I said, "You said I haven't violated any laws, right?" He said, yeah, of course not. So I basically told him, I said, listen, man, this is public property. I'm allowed to be here anytime you guys are open to the public, and I'm probably going to start coming a lot more often. I'm exercising my First Amendment. I'm going to be out here, and there's nothing that can be done about that.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
I said, as long as I'm not breaking the laws, I'm fine to be here. For a lot of you that don't know, I'm a constitutional activist, so I believe in the right to free speech, the right to bear arms. I'm not a political person at all. The only thing that I care about is my rights being respected. And I basically told the guy, I said, other people's comfort doesn't trump my rights. And I told him, I said, I would recommend to them that if they're not comfortable, that they stay home. And he was like, well, if they stay home, then we won't have anybody to watch the place. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't mention it, I probably should have, but I was thinking, this place doesn't even need a volunteer. My friend Tom, who lives down the road, his dump doesn't even have an attendant. People just bring stuff and straighten it out. I'd actually like to see that happen instead of all this attendant crap. Which actually brings me to the next topic. I told him, let me tell you what this is really all about. I was like, what's really happening here is these ladies are all resellers, and they're trying to get first dibs at the merchandise. And I don't give a shit if they're volunteers or not. I ain't having it. So what I believe they're doing is just gathering around like a bunch of biddy Karens and trying to get me thrown out of the dump. But what they don't understand is it's public property. The only way that I could get thrown out of the dump is if I'm committing a crime. This is not a private business, so the same rules of getting thrown out of somewhere don't apply on public lands. And I could see in his eyes, he knew what I was telling him was 100% the truth. And he basically just told me, he said, listen, man, I'm just telling you what they're telling me. And I even told him, I said, listen, man, you seem like a really, really nice guy. And I said, I'm not trying to jump down your throat, but I said, I've been doing this for years. I'm a pro picker. And I told him, I said, I have been dealing with this kind of bullshit for years. And I even told him, I said, look, man, you think this is the first time that I've had other reseller competition trying to gang up on me? I told him, bro, I've been fighting battles bigger than this for years. This ain't nothing to me. And I pointed over where the stuff comes out at the front. I said, I wasn't standing by anybody, but I'll be mindful of it. My intention is never to make somebody feel uncomfortable, but at this stage in my life, guys, you got to understand there are some things you don't know about me. I'll basically just put it to you like this. I've put up with a lot of bullshit in my life, and without getting into it too much and putting it as simple as possible, I don't put up with anyone's bullshit. Over the past 5 years, I've really familiarized myself with the rights of public land, constitutional law. So if I'm out somewhere in public, chances are very good that I'm allowed to be there doing exactly what it is I'm doing. But I think I'm going to start wearing a GoPro body cam. We don't want anybody saying things happened that didn't happen. We just want to kind of keep things, straight. And I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that are not very confrontational, but I would have to encourage you to not put up with anybody's shit either. If you know you're in the right, stand up for yourself. And I basically told that guy at the end of our conversation, I said, I'm the kind of guy that if I feel like something's right, I'll stand up for it at any cost. That's just my personality, guys. I've always been like that since I was a little kid. Now, I used to get run over a lot. There are times when it still happens, but you know what? You just can't let people beat you down. It wasn't terrible at the dump Saturday. I didn't find a whole lot, but I did find these 2-head titanium rackets. These are the TI-S1, and these actually sell for pretty good money. I actually found this big thing here, which was probably a mistake. I probably shouldn't have got it. But somebody was trying to get $15 for it. And it's some type of laser level. I don't even really know if it works or not. We still haven't tested it, so we'll probably take a look. How's that? Mr. K said we're not going to be able to test it. I don't know why, but why can't we test it?
I don't know anything about it, for one.
I'm probably just gonna.
And you could probably get it to turn on. That's
Yeah.
about all you can do is see if it turns on.
I'm probably just gonna power test this thing. And I saw one that had sold. I thought this was like a several $100 machine, and this company does sell machines like that for several $100s. But this one I saw. There's only one that sold for like $59 plus shipping, and I don't even know if it's worth my time with that. And that was probably sold in good working condition. So this will probably get donated back.
Well, no, if you can get 50 or 60 bucks for it,
It's worth a shot, huh?
it's a, you make 30 bucks on it.
Yeah, but I'm gonna. It's,
Oh, you gotta ship it.
this is a big machine, I don't know if I want to deal with it, so we'll
Shipping's
see. This is the conundrum we're faced with in rural New Hampshire, boys and girls.
All the current laser machines are very small and compact.
Yeah, who the hell wants this 400-pound dummy?
You get Bosch and DeWalt and all these companies that have these small ones, and these things are fantastic.
Stand up for your rights. All right, so we just tested that laser thing, and it does turn on, so I'm probably just going to sell it as power tested only, and hopefully we can get something out of it. For now, I think I'm going to end the video, go get to work. You guys remember to stand up for your rights, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.